intimate with Buddha, intimate with Dharma, intimate with Sangha. Thank you for being here. This is July 2024 Sesshin, the third full talk. Hana no yo no, hana no yo naru, hito bakari. All beings are flowers. All beings are flowers blooming. All beings are flowers blooming in a blooming universe. Soen Roshi. So everybody's settling in, and that looks different for each person. It's perfectly different for each person how you settle in and how that looks, how that feels. And each person is meeting what only they can meet, the intimacy of your own experience. It's wild how much we project onto others when we have about this much knowledge. This maybe is too much knowledge we think we have about what others are experiencing. But everybody has a heart, everybody has a mind, everybody is shot through with the Dharma. All beings are flowers blooming in a blooming universe. So Zazen is a practice of activating freedom, of inhabiting freedom, of enjoying freedom. Hongzhi, his attendant, a long time ago, titled this little teaching, Opening the Grasping Hands. How do you do it? How do you do it? Do you know what grasping is now? How do you open the grasping hands? What is that? Maybe we'll get a clue from Hongzhi. Master Hongzhi says, silent and still, abiding in itself, this suchness is apart from conditioning. Has nothing to do with the ordinary movements of mind. This suchness is apart from conditioning. Its luminosity is vast and spacious, without any dust. Directly, delusion is thoroughly relinquished. Arriving at this fundamental place, you realize that it is not something newly acquired today. We may visit it for the first time. Just because you go to San Diego for the first time doesn't mean that San Diego didn't exist before that. San Diego was always there, you just weren't interested. You didn't follow the directions that would take you to San Diego. Arriving at this fundamental place, you recognize it as home, as intimate. Since before time, there has always been the presence of utter clarity without obscurations. Potent and lively, it shines alone. Though it is like this, it must be actualized. To actualize it in this moment is simply not to let a single thing arise, a single speck of dust to cover it. That is, hold your ground as wakeful stillness. Do not waver from holding your ground as wakeful stillness. Everything else is just guests. In this great rest, let all conditioning dry up. Let all conditioning dry up, sort of like if there was a mirror outside on the field facing the sky, you'd sprinkle water on it, but eventually that would all just evaporate completely of nature's accord. Let all conditioning dry up, be spacious and completely lucid. If the great rest is not thoroughly exhaustive, you will not be able to reach the realm beyond birth and death. It's not enough to just blip there. There's something about surrendering, giving over, dying into that. Dissolve your concerns. Take the backward step and open your grasping hands. Again, he doesn't tell us exactly how. There's probably a reason for that. Dissolve your concerns. Open your grasping hands. Thoroughly resolve this matter. That is, touch the truth so deeply, your faith is no longer a matter of belief. And your zazen, and basically your life, is no longer fully based on your ordinary mind. Thoroughly resolve this matter. Then you will be able to put forth light and respond to the world appropriately, merging with the myriad appearances in a manner that is just right for all occasions. Usually we have a fixating self. Usually because of the self, our flexibility is kind of limited. We can get along with this kind of person, but not that. We're comfortable in this circumstance, but not here. It is said, the truth of all dharmas is not hidden. From ancient times to the present, it is always revealing itself. And we're free to cultivate the conditions that make it easier to see what Hongzhi is pointing to. Each person is free to hold mindfulness. That is that which knows what is going on in the mind. That which is not fooled or taking as more than partially true what is going on in the mind. Free to hold mindfulness. Free to cultivate absorption. Some people have more natural affinity for concentration. Some people have less. Both people are rewarded in doing the work. Everyone has to, if they wish to know this that Hongzhi is talking about. Free to release opposition. This is like saying you're free to take your hand out of burning water. You're free to remove your fingers from a door slammed shut. You're free to remove a thorn from your own body. Because that's what opposition is. It's like closing our own fingers in a door. I don't mean opposition to injustice or opposition to, whatever. I mean the way we split ourselves in two by saying, nope, not this. The Dharma is free of contradictions because everything we can say is limited and can't say the whole thing. So we're free to, it's necessary to cultivate, to build the skills of Dharma, and yet our freedom doesn't depend on these. These skills seem to make it easier to recognize our natural freedom, but that freedom doesn't depend on mindfulness, concentration, releasing opposition. We're free to suffer. That's one of the freedoms we have. Human mind, which has no sort of inbuilt limits is free to think itself into the deepest hell. And we know people who have done such a thing. Human mind, which has no bounds around it, is free to imagine whatever kind of twisted scenario or even a totally untrue story about our own self. We polish the mirror so we can break it. But then we polish the mirror because it's of benefit. How are you free to cultivate absorption? How free are you to cultivate soft-heartedness? Sometimes it seems like not a bit. Nope, not me, not a bit. Shrouded deluge of whatever, sleepiness is popular. Thoughts of I should have or I could have are very popular. Fantasizing about the life that will hit the spot is very popular. And waves of sleepiness come and I can't muster even a speck of clear consciousness. My back aches all over and I can't focus for a minute. It's the Dharma of no power over nature. No power over nature. From the standpoint of one wishing to cultivate well, the powerless is frustrating. We mistakenly equate the conditions that arise as negative feedback on our effort or as a pronouncement on our capacity. So this kind of logic thinks, okay, I have been really trying hard for 2 days now, and I'm just knocked over by my whatever. Therefore, I'm not good at this. Therefore, I'm not cut out for it. Therefore, I'm doing it wrong. We believe we're getting negative feedback on our effort. We believe that everything arises has a why. We believe that everything arises has a cause. And usually we think, well, the cause is Zen's not for me, or I'm not for Zen. From the standpoint of wishing to cultivate well, it's hard to see that the roughs make us permeable. The roughs make us softer. The roughs can make us less defended, less sure. When you're in the roughs, it's hard to see that that's a good thing. It's hard to feel that the Dharma is working on me, that I'm being kneaded like dough that is going to rise. Because we take it as negative feedback. This isn't getting better according to my plan, therefore, should have gone to the beach like Myo-yu said. And sometimes these times of no traction, no clear consciousness, of heartache and body ache, just riding the rapids, even in these times, we make our best effort. If we were a theistic tradition, we would say, God is testing you. God is testing you to see, do you mean it? Do you mean it? How thoroughly do you wish to wake up? How much faith is there in the path to wake up? Or does the slightest little obstacle, bellyache, headache, doubt, does the slightest little thing knock us off course? So the old adept, when asked, what's the highest truth of Buddhism, said, sitting long and getting tired. He wasn't being a smart ass only. It's good sometimes to reflect on what the ancestors of our tradition, meaning practically the people who kept doing this so that it arrived at this place and time, the condition that they practiced in. There were definitely no machines blowing the hot air out of the room. The grace of impermanence is never absent. The grace of impermanence is never absent, but we turn away from it. We go to sleep to it. We undervalue it. We don't believe it. Grace of impermanence is never absent. Macro and micro, all is shifting, all is morphing. There's not a single place in the field of your experience that you could now turn to and say, but not there. Nothing has ever arrived as solid, zero. And so the rough rapids recede. And so rough rapids come. As practitioners, both are the grace of impermanence, actually. We have never experienced an unchanging state of mind, mood, body, or environment. I remember when I was younger, I would say now in hindsight, I suffered from low-level depression. Maybe I had a mood disorder. But I had it for so long, I always just took it to be who I was. That's the way things were. That's the way life felt. And despite 100 sesshin, 10,000 hours on the cushion, I never stopped to see the grace of impermanence in that which I took to be so real until I did. We have never experienced an unchanging state of mind, mood, body, or environment. Why then do we believe that things have arrived? Why then do we believe that things are solid? We put our eggs in baskets all the time. So heavens and hells, oceans and deserts, empty corridors and crowded festive rooms, all are coming and going gracefully. Rumi said, "Learn the alchemy the true human beings know. Learn the alchemy the true human beings know. The moment you accept what troubles you've been given, the door will open. The moment you accept what troubles you've been given, the door will open." What will it look like when that door opens? It may not mean that the problem vanishes. The person in our life leaves. The person in our life comes. The moment you accept what troubles you've been given, the door will open. And this is hard to practice. Welcome difficulty as a familiar comrade. Joke with torment brought by the divine. Is it hard to practice or easy to practice? It's hard to be in opposition to our difficulties. That is damn hard. Because we add insult to injury. That's hard. Is it hard to welcome them, actually? Rumi continues, sorrows are rags of old clothes and jackets that serve to cover, then are taken off. That undressing and the naked body underneath is the sweetness that comes after hardship. So we're free to hold mindfulness. We're free to cultivate absorption. We're free to release opposition. We're free to work with the actual shifting conditions of this moment rather than waste time wanting conditions to be what they're not. Here's a poem by Jane Hirschfield that I like very much, called To Opinion. Many capacities have been thought to define the human, yet finches and wasps use tools. Speech comes into this world in many forms. Perhaps it is you, opinion. Though I cannot know for certain, I doubt the singing dolphins have opinions. This thought, of course, is you. A mosquito's estimation of her meal, however subtle, is not an opinion. That's my opinion too. To think about you, opinion, is to step into your arms, a thicket, a pitfall. When you come rising strongly in me, I feel myself grow more separate. When you come rising strongly in me, I feel myself grow more separate and more lonely. And more lonely. Even when others share you, this is so. Darwin said, no fact or description that fails to support an argument can serve. Poet Myoe wrote, bright, 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 the moon. Last night there were whole minutes when you released me. Ocean, 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 as the sound the sand made of the moonlit waves breaking on it. I felt no argument with any part of my life. Not even with you, opinion, who drifted in salt waters with the bullwhip kelp and phosphorescent plankton, nibbling my legs and ribcage to remind me where others end and I begin. Good joke, I agreed with you, companion, opinion. We come up against the barriers of ourselves. Now, from one perspective, if we don't care, for example, to touch, to rest in what Hongzhi is talking about, it's not a barrier. It's just who you are. But if we care to cultivate the path deeply, then we come up against the barrier of ourselves. But what is that made of? Esteemed teachers from all the different traditions have said that we have to be willing to give up fixed opinions attitudes, beliefs, and perspectives. Doesn't sound so bad until that's what's at our door. We have to be willing to give up our fixed opinions, attitude, beliefs, and perspectives. So first, as I'm stressing, we have to be willing. You have to want to. If you don't want to, that's nobody's business. It ain't going to happen. We have to want to. And then we have to be the openness that holds our opinions, attitudes, beliefs, and perspectives very lightly. And even if we want to, this rarely feels good. When we hit these times in practice, we look out and see a bunch of demons in the Zendo, and our teacher's an enemy, and we hate the whole thing. We want to light the library on fire. We want to give a middle finger to the Buddha. When we really hit this opposition, it rarely feels good. It's getting more and more rare to find a practice place or a teacher who's willing to meet somebody in this place. In our culture and time, we're in a cult of my informed opinion. My informed opinion. In some ways, true practice and this cult that we're in of my informed opinion, they're perpendicular. They're at odds. There is a level of practice that goes against the deep attitudes of individuality. But, again, it's nobody's business what opinions, attitudes, beliefs you hold unless you're their dad or their wife, etc. Then it's kind of their business. Someone might say, it's the world's business. But the opinions, beliefs, attitudes, and perspectives that we have to be willing to give up are given up because they are suffering views. They are suffering attitudes. They are limiting me, you. They are taking this wholeness that is life, this seamlessness, and dicing it into the good guys and the bad guys, the right and the wrong, the correct and the incorrect, the world of suffering, the world that's outside of that. So this means we have to encounter these in ourselves, and we have to verify the suffering of these views and opinions. We have to come up right against the pain of these perspectives. That's my current working theory. How do we let go? We feel the pain of our holding. We see that we do have our hand in boiling water. We see that we do put thorns into our own skin. If you've done a lot of work on yourself, that might sound kind of heavy-handed. May not be so inaccurate for some of us. These views, opinions, attitudes, I deserve only. People should never. A properly run meditation retreat should be. First layer we might notice is these beliefs, these attitudes, these convictions we have about everybody else. But really, to know our natural freedom, we have to give up the fixed beliefs, attitudes about who we are. About who we are. The way I am is not the way I am. It's a way I am. The way you are, that's not the way you are. It might be a way you're being. It might be a particular way you can show up. That's not the way you are. Who said? I am this way. I'm not cut out for this. Is that your whole reality? I'm a gentle soul and I never strive in my meditation practice. Is that your whole reality? I'm a peaceful person and I don't have anger. Is that really true? I'm calm and rational. Really? I don't really care about awakening. Is that the truth? If you search your soul? Each day, even in Sesshin, many of us can testify to situations that we bring friction into. We bring suffering into a situation that suffering is not inherent. You're sitting at Oryoki, it's just phenomena happening. It's just bodies breathing and mouths chewing and tongues moving and matter going into a mouth and being masticated. Whatever else goes on. And yet there's all this stuff internally. There's all these reactions, all these feelings, all these pronouncements. Where did all that come from? Zen practice is ultimately about giving up self-image and self-concept altogether. Altogether in exchange for something much better. If there's a promise of practice, it's that you can, and if you continue, will be free from the heavy weight of the I thought. You will and can be free from the heavy weight of self-image. It's just an image. Nobody's ever experienced their self. Fingernails and fingers and freckles and hair and arms and thoughts and perceptions and some feelings here and a little tingling there. It's all appearances. I've been sitting here for a really long time. I've never found myself. One of my favorite teachings from the Buddha, this was recorded as the Tanha Sutta. Something Buddha said about this self-image. Mendicants, I will teach you about craving. The weaver, the migrant, the creeping, the clinging. This world is choked by it, engulfed by it. When I read this, I think of Las Vegas, where I grew up. This world is choked by it, engulfed by it. It makes the world tangled like yarn, knotted like a ball of thread, and matted like rushes and reeds, not escaping the places of loss, the bad places, the underworld transmigration. We happen to be in a low bubble. A bubble that comes together because of many things, including virtue, including hard work. There are many other bubbles in the world, and a lot of them are sure shot through with craving. A lot of them are sure pervaded by aggression, or sure pervaded by hatred. There are hells on this earth. This world is choked by it, engulfed by it. It makes the world tangled like yarn, knotted like a ball of thread. Listen and apply your mind well. I will speak. Yes, sir, they replied. And the Buddha said this. And what is that craving? Now the Buddha, when not meditating, did arithmetic as a hobby. He loved numbers. There are 18 currents of craving that derive from the interior and 18 that derive from the exterior. What are the 18 currents of craving that derive from the interior? When there is the concept I am, there are the concepts I am such, I am thus, I am otherwise, I am fleeting, I am lasting, mine, such is mine, thus is mine, otherwise is mine, also mine, such is also mine, thus is also mine, otherwise is also mine. I will be such, I will be thus, I will be otherwise. These are the 18 currents of craving that derive from the interior. In other words, these are the thoughts that come from the grasping at I am a self who's going to exist in the future. I am a self who existed in the past. These thoughts come out of fear. I need to think about, here's an easy example, I need to think about what I'm going to say so that I can be seen as such and such. Where there's the concept I am, where there's the belief in self, there are the concepts I am such, I am thus, and so on. It all just proliferates from there, and we've got a mind full of untrue, let's say partially true thoughts. Well, what are the 18 currents of craving that derive from the exterior? When there's the concept I am because of this, there are the concepts I am such because of this, I am thus because of this, I am otherwise because of this, I am fleeting because of this, I am lasting because of this is mine because of this, such is mine because of this, thus is mine because of this, otherwise is mine because of this, also mine because of this, such is also mine because of this is also mine because of this, otherwise is also mine because of this, I will be because of this, I will be such because of this, I will be thus because of this, I will be otherwise because of this. These are the 18 currents of craving that derive from the exterior. So there are 18 currents of craving that derive from the interior and 18 that derive from the exterior. There are thus called the 36 currents of craving. Each of these pertain to the past, future, and present. That is, we grasping thoughts of self-identity based on the 3 times, making 108 currents of craving. I didn't do the math, but it's the Buddha here. That is craving, the weaver, the migrant, the creeping, the clinging. This world is choked by it, engulfed by it. Maybe more to the core of things is your peace is choked by it. Your true nature is engulfed by it. Your ability to simply move through the day with ease is matted over because of it. It makes the world tangled like yarn, knotted like a ball of thread, and matted like rushes and reeds. With such craving, there is no escaping the places of loss, the bad places, the underworld, transmigration. We invest belief in the solid reality of self-image because no one is quite as honest like Buddha about what it really is. We invest in the solid reality of self-image because maybe we didn't know there was an alternative. But now we know. And actually, the alternative is what we love, what we actually enjoy, where we actually rest. Where we're authentic is actually non-separation. Nobody loves the stress of self-image. It's amusing sometimes. All of this makes deeper and deeper sense, all of this resonates truer and truer the more we really sit. That's my opinion. Be stillness, encompassing all the movements. Stillness is not an object of your awareness. You can be it. As soon as you know it, it's just a delusory idea. Be stillness that encompasses all the movements. Body like a mountain of cloud. Mind a sky. Where does the sky, this room, and your mind, where's the partition between those three? Where's the partition between interior and exterior? Where does your mind begin? Where does it stop? The sky, this room, mind, they're not three different places. We don't have to labor to fight with our thoughts. Just let each thought be like a drawing made on water. Relaxed as sky mind. Thoughts are like sky riding, made of air. Just look directly. As beautiful and interesting as whatever you may be able to think may be, it's just made of air. All presence all the way through, undivided into parts. Your left knee doesn't say, I'm the left knee, and over there's the right knee. Only discriminating mind says that. Your head doesn't say, I'm on top. Your feet don't say, I'm at the bottom. Only discriminating mind says that. All presence all the way through. And if these words are pinging a longing in you, if they're pinging your aspiration to wake up, then give up whatever you can see keeps you from giving in to this immediacy. Give up whatever keeps you from truly plunging in. There's nothing to lose. There's nothing to be gained from holding back.